This is a little bit of an experiment. I've not really tried building a Lego set under my webcam in this way before. And it has actually been a very, very long time since I did a Lego set full stop, all by my lonesome. So this is a Lego Star Wars set, as you can see. This is 75310 Duel on Mandalore. And I know the Clone Wars episode that this is taken from, and I picked this up because it was on offer, and it's got Ahsoka in it, and of course Darth Maul. Neither of which I think I have at the moment as minifigures. So I figured that, this was quite good value given that it's got 2 figures in it. So I'm going to crack on with it. Show the box around. Security protected. Didn't pinch it, honestly. And so that's the detail of what it's going to look like when it's done. A little bit of an action shot on the side there. And that's about the only exciting thing, really. Another picture of Darth there on the flip side. Interestingly, there are no thumb entry points. Oh, yes, there is. There we go. Okay. Unboxing. Looks like the idea was she was going to freeze him in carbonite, but I'm not sure if that actually happened in the episode. I think I've only seen clips of it. I'm not sure I've actually seen it. I've forgotten what the correct Lego word is for... That's rather pretty. For sorting Lego. There's a proper word for it, and it won't come to me. I'm saying I'm that rusty, it's terrible. And that construction guide is not for the hard of eyesight, it would appear. Let's get the little pieces sorted out first. Some wedges and some 1x2s. Move my mic a little bit closer so you can hear me a little bit better. Okay. 1x4s. 1x1s. I'm hoping this isn't going to take me too long. It shouldn't do, touch wood. 1x3s. Let's get this going by colour actually. That would be better. Wedges various. Yeah, so as I said, I'm not particularly collecting Star Wars Lego, but I quite fancied having the minifigures from this one just for the sake of it, really, as much as anything else. So I thought I'd just pick this one up as a bit of a Christmas present to myself, really. But I haven't really had a chance to sit and do it until now. At least I haven't made a chance to sit and do it until now. That's more accurately. Let's see how we get on. That nearly caught me out. Those are the sort of headlight pieces of old Molds. That's the wrong colour. It's got something stuck to it. Little Star Wars blaster there for good measure. I'm not entirely sure why that's in there actually, because I wouldn't have thought that either of them used blasters, given their Jedi/Sith natures, but we'll see. Obviously those are going to be lightsaber blades. I did once find quite a novel use from a lightsaber element, because they're unusual in that because of these blades here, particularly for the Darth Maul one, they have the advantage of having 2 connection points going in opposite directions. which is really, really unusual. I mean, you could kind of do it with that piece, but obviously that's not really a proper piece. But the lightsaber hilts are actually really useful if you want to sort of reverse direction in two directions at once, if you see what I mean. I'll show you what I mean when I get the main bag open. I'm just going to finish off sorting this one, and then I'll just add the main bag in, I think, because this is such a small build. I can't imagine that I need to be too wary of opening all the bags at the same time, he says. Famous last words, I know. Someone's probably shouting at me. Okay, cool. Still plastic bags in this set as well. Actually, I thought they were transferring over to paper bags soon. I love it. I love how Ahsoka's hair has got her own little mini bag. That's beautiful. Nice. I dare say it's probably almost worth keeping that in the bag, because that's probably worth a lot to some people, but she's getting made up, because I think it would be rude not to, quite frankly. Okay, so let's have a look. I imagine the figures are probably the first thing to get built. Let me just show you that point I was making about the saber hilts, because now these are silvered as well. That's nice. They're sort of the chromed, which is my camera can't really focus in on very well. But come on, camera, figure it out. Unfortunately, it's only a webcam, so it's only so clever. But you can see that's very shiny. But the advantage with these is, actually, are they? Oh yeah, they are. I think. Are they what I think? Yes. So the advantage with these is, you see, that you can go that way, but then you can also attach something that way. So what that allows you to do is have a sort of mirrored up and down. Oh, now it starts to focus. Thanks for that. Come on. So that's quite unusual, because obviously normally with Lego it will just go in one direction, but you can actually reverse direction using a piece which is effectively only one brick deep, which is quite handy. And I used that when I was doing my Space 1999 Eagle back in the day. That was a Lego idea that I had going a little while ago, and that actually allowed me to invert the direction of travel of the bricks rather nicely, so I could get studs at the top and the bottom of the particular element that I was trying to create from it. So that's quite a handy trick, and I'm not aware there are many other things you could do that with, although I suspect that Technic piece would do it, but it's probably not a legal thing to do because it hasn't technically got studs on it. So I could probably just make these lightsabers up, to be honest, but let's follow the instructions. Am I running out of space on the screen? Very nearly. Okay. I may have underestimated how long this is actually going to take me, because there's a surprising amount of sorting to be done because of the amount of detail. Can you still see those? Yes, you can. Okay, that's good. As you may have gathered from my complete and utter lack of technique in these things, I don't generally do Lego builds live, or even semi-live as this one is. But I've had to take some videos off my channel of late because I was hoping to monetize, just to generate a bit of money for hobbies such as this, and unfortunately it's quite difficult to monetize certain types of video, and in my case those certain types of video were the ones that made up the bulk of my watch hours on my channel, of course. So as a result, I'm trying to up my output a little bit of things like this, which should be absolutely fine to be monetized, and consequently I'm having to sort of develop slightly new techniques. I'm also looking at a different camera, because I think originally I got this webcam not for this sort of purpose, but with a view to communicating with people on lockdown, and it's fine up to a point, but it is absolutely no good with sort of sort of really sort of close in work and so on and so forth. So it ain't rigged for this. So if you've got any recommendations for cameras, I'd be very interested to hear them, because that would be of use to me. I mean, obviously there are countless videos online which will give me suggestions, but I feel that I'm going to run out of space to sort here, which is not ideal, because I was trying to do it in the appropriate way so you could actually see what was what, but I may have to abandon that plan and just get buildings that I can actually reduce the amount of stuff that I've got in front of me here. I've not done too badly. You can see where I'm going with most of it. These are quite interesting pieces as well, because they go vertically there and then they go horizontally on the flip side. So they have a few options if you just want a little bit of patterning to your builds. There. Okay, that's not too bad. I apologise if that's not up to adequate sorting standards, but you can see I've got a relatively limited view space here for you, so I think I'll probably just crack on from here. Just trying to make sure I've got as much as I can. Let's get Darth and Ahsoka sorted out. So I'm assuming that she doesn't need anything on her back here, and it's just as you would expect. It's a nice moulded headpiece. That's very clever. I guess she can't really turn her head very much, but that's a really nice minifigure. And let's face it, you're not going to be able to reproduce her terribly easily. So that's definitely one to keep hold of carefully, I think, for the future. And we'll pop her just over to one side for the time being. I'll build Mr. D. Maul, Esquire. I forget how he got his legs back. I believe there was some dark magic involved from the Night Sisters, if I remember rightly. But it has been a long time since I watched Clone Wars, and I know that initially he had cyborg legs when he came back the first time, but I think he then got a bit of an upgrade to try and help him take Dooku back on again. This obviously became a bit of a moot point eventually, but that was the way of it. All grey. Right, okay, right, I'm going to get cracking now. Let's have a look at instructions. I'm pretty much there. So my colour sorting has been less than optimal, but that'll have to do. Put Darth down there. Okay, so if you want to be able to see the instructions as I go. Obviously, I've already that bit I've already done. It would like me to put the lightsabers together, so I shall do that. I'll clear those out of the way if nothing else. I believe these pieces were made especially to be lightsaber hilts. I don't know if they actually existed before lightsabers were a thing for Lego. But as I say, I have found a secondary purpose for them for my own purposes. So, okay, she's ready to go. Interesting. Did she still have her blue blades then, or were they actually white by that point? I wonder. I'm not sure if that's actually accurate, technically speaking. But anyway, moving on. Presumably, I see. Okay, so these. Bless him. So this little tiny little rubbery bit that I've got here, which I wasn't sure about, that's actually for Darth Maul's head. That's his horns. So I don't know if horns is the right word for them really, but anyway. So you've got to put a little red piece on the front first. Does that mean I've got a spare? No, perhaps I've got a spare. So that means I've got a spare. I'm surprised that's a spare piece of all things. Maybe it's in case one gets lost or something, in case you just lose the top once you've... It's more of a backup than a spare, perhaps. Okay. And this, of course, is the reason why these lightsaber hilts have two lightsaber holders, I guess, because it does allow you to do this for Darth Maul's purposes, of course. So he gets his double-ended saber naturally because this piece allows for that. It does make it makes it hugely tall compared to him, of course. That's the funny thing about it. I suppose it does in the series as well, but it means to actually stand him up when he's holding it is quite tricky. That's quite entertaining. Okay, pop him over there. Right, let's get going. I'll shove that up a little bit. Maybe you can just about make out the instructions there. So it looks like we're making his holding cell first. I think that's a dark 2x4. And a couple of these. I'm not trying to speed build this, but I am running a little bit later than I'd hoped to this evening. It has to be said. I could just pause and carry on, but I think I'd quite like to do it in one if I can. But it's a remarkably thick building instructions set booklet for just this. Hinge pieces, very, very useful little pieces I find sometimes for going around corners and the like and doing doors and that sort of thing. What else have we got? Those. Two times those actually. Classic piece of Lego lack of signalling, where you've just got to sort of be mindful of what the changes between one image and the next, because obviously it's saying use two, but it's not showing you where the second one goes. Probably another good reason not to be doing it at this time of night, but anyway. Now then, are they this? Is that the same way round? No, it isn't. Ah, right. So the reason I'm squinting is, can you see the little notch there? That's a differentiator for which way round the this piece is actually sort of facing, because obviously there's nothing to it. There's a slight line on the inside of it. So the only actual indication you've got from the instruction manual is to align those little notches in the top studs to get it the right way round first time. Also, there's also little holes at the bottom corner there as well, which are different. So they just give you an idea of what's what there. And that's clever. So we're going to use that to reinforce going around the corner, but it leaves you the outside kind of free. Yeah, that's clever. I do like these little touches. Of course, because these are actually going to be doors. That's why they've gone with the hinge option. Actually, I'm forgetting. Oh, interestingly, what it hasn't told me to do is it looks like there's a sticker there. I'm not sure it's told me to apply the sticker. Oh no, it has actually. That'll teach me. I've completely missed a page. Yes, definitely too late and definitely too rusty to be doing this at this time of night. Okay. So clearly then I need to be popping my windows in, and that's interesting. So actually that one is, oops, that's not good. Unfortunately that was off screen. So this is actually, so I've got to put the window in, front side like that, yeah. And then I've got to put a sticker onto the front of that whilst it's in place. That's an interesting ask. I wonder why it's easy to do it this way, not the other way around. I wonder. I mentioned that I don't like doing Lego stickers. Alright, that actually landed reasonably well. Nice Mandalorian helmet in the middle of that as well. They've got some nice nice detailing. Sorry if that's not very in focus. As the downside of this webcam, unfortunately. Okay, right, moving on, having recovered from that little error, although there's still a... Yeah, I've got to do 3 and 4 onto this. Oops. And that was the sound of my sticker sheet floating away somewhere. Where did that land? Well, that's... got it. It's lucky, because otherwise I could have been rather stuck there. Okay, so let's try that again. So I need to apply that about on the middle of here. That's just going on there. There we go. So that's now done. Yes, I have put that on the right one. That's good. Okay, where did I get up to before I completely messed that one up? I need to turn it around. It says okay. And that's the bottom there. I see. That's just holding it in. That's just holding it in place. Only half of that is actually fastened on. So that's just really a sort of stabilisation piece, that. And then interestingly, 2 rather large pieces to block that whole sort of frontage off. And that's to give space for the figure to sit in there, I guess. Oh gosh, I thought that was cracked for a minute. Just a piece of fluff. That's okay. Right. And we're just levelling off this gap with a 1x4. And what else are we doing now? So we're blocking this in and locking that down as well with a 1x2. Okay, so we've now got quite a solid back to that. And then we're going to go chisel it around again. And that's the back. And I need a 1x4 smooth piece, which a tile rather. That's the one I'm after. There we go. Something not completely hopeless. Okay, good. And then we apparently disarmed Darth Maul. I can just put his lightsaber on him, and we stick him in there. And that's how you get a figure into a closed box in a 1x4 or a 3x4 space. And you can just see his eyes. You can just see his little eyes through the gap in the sticker. Clever. Okay. So that presumably is actually that for that particular piece. And now we're building the sort of throne element of the set, because this is where the duel took place, in the throne room when Maul was trying to get control of Mandalore, as I recall. Now let's crack on with this. So we've got, you can't see that, can you? It's one of those. So I think we're just we're doing a touch of set building here. I'm hoping this won't take too much longer. That's all the pieces from there. One times one of those and one of those. So we're just kind of working on building up the base level for this then. Put that in there like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's that done. Moving on. So we need to have enough space to put the manual in now. 2 more 1x1s. So we're just mirroring on this side now, effectively. It really is a really small instruction booklet, considering the box is so big. I wonder why they chose to print the instruction booklet quite so compactly, because they really have shrunk it down a lot. Okay, so now he wants a 2x4 and 2x3 plate. And we're going to have a little gap. And we're going to slot that in smack in the middle of the grey tile. Okay. Now the good old wing wedge pieces. So we're going to put those in alongside that 2x3 to create the step. And then we're going to do another 2 underneath. Let's round this out. Okay. Grand. It looks like that's a spare, which is nice. As perhaps is that, so we'll pop that out of the way as well. What else have we got? We've got 1x2, and then the sort of grating tile on top of that. Now, which way round is that? Yeah, it's got to be that way around, hasn't it? Okay, what's that? What else have we got? 2x4. This looks like something hingy, but I'm not quite sure where this is going. It was a fascinating part of it. I remember sort of doing my my huge Batmobile and just wondering what on earth they were doing with it half the time, because there was so much inner structure to it. That was also multiple colours. It just seemed crazy for quite a while, until it sort of became apparent what the steps were trying to achieve. Now with this one, it's saying I need these two, but I don't know quite where yet. Oh, I see. Okay, so we're going to put those on there. So that's interesting, and then we're just going to put that straight onto there. Okay. So that can only then flip that way. Okay, interesting. Yes, I agree that I can indeed flip it around and about. Yes, but why? Oh, yes, it's because he gets knocked through the window. That's what it is. I see. That's really interesting. Actually, I don't think I've ever known a set to incorporate something quite like that before. If that's what, I think that's what it's doing, so that should be interesting. So you've got to be careful here, you see, with these, because the as I was saying before, they've got their vertical sides facing in, but if you didn't notice that, you could easily put them in the wrong way round. Okay, 1x3, 1x3. I feel like I should have some mood music going in the background or something, but of course that's what copyright claims come off the back of, so it's kind of, I guess that's kind of tricky, unless you use one of YouTube's copyright free options. No, have I missed something there? No, that's just going to go straight on without any connection point underneath. Okay, fine. Alright, okay. Need another sticker apparently. There's quite a number of stickers as well. I really do hate doing stickers. There's no pressure at all when you're tired and half blind. Ugh, look at that. That's a terrible application. Fortunately, the camera is so blurry you can't tell, and it's perfect. I'm not going to try and redo that. It's probably not worth it. Okay. Sorry for the purists out there, but that was a terrible attempt at a stick, it has to be said. One by ones there. And the headlamp pieces, as I think of them anyway. There. A couple more one by one bricks there. Okay. And got a little gap underneath there, but that's clearly intentional. What else are we doing? 2 more one by ones. Definitely whittling down the pieces now. There aren't many that you can't see at this point. That's better. I think you can probably see everything now. So where was I? So that was those ones in there. Yes. And that one I've already done. Yep, that's okay. Some more of these. Just building up the back wall now. Okay. That's that. And then still building up the back wall. More stickers. What could possibly go wrong? So I'm just doing one at a time here. So I need sticker 1 for this, which is this sort of stained glass kind of effect. It'd be good if I could actually get it off the sticker sheet in the first place, wouldn't it? I think I've got that going the right way. Yeah. I'm reasonably happy with that. Oh, actually I'm not. Hang on. This is what you don't want to be doing with stickers. No, you know what, I'm not going to take it off again because that's just going to cause havoc. I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, moving on. Note to self, don't start so late at night ever again. Okay. And happily, that looks like the end of the stickers. What to do now is get this one vaguely matching up on the other side, and all will be well with the world. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's quite surprising that they didn't print that, because it's quite essential to get the pattern lined up, and I haven't done a very good job of it at all. Yeah, it's surprising. I don't know how many printed pieces they really do these days, if I'm honest. Maybe it just isn't a la mode. It's cheaper to do stickers. Okay. So that's looks like the top of the window sorted out and fastened on. Are we still going on the... Yep, we're still going on the back wall. Interestingly, they're not varying it. I thought they might have done a slightly sort of alternating pattern with it, but it's just a 1x2 and a 1x1 each time. So now we're getting a slight difference. We're going to put that there and that there. I'm going to chew through the 1x1 bricks. Oops, missed. There we go. That's that. those. They still haven't listened to me because it's still doing exactly the same repetition. And in fact, now we've got 2 1x1 sets of bricks on top of each other, which isn't very stable because there hasn't been a plate in between them this time round, which is interesting. I still haven't run out of the ridged bricks, and again they're just going straight on top of the ones underneath them. Yeah, I mean that's a really sort of wibbly wobbly build, that. Okay, here we go. So this is where we get the structural reinforcing at the top now. You can't really see this, can you? Can you see basically that's just, the walls are quite uniform, but now we're going to be doing this. Let me try and build this at an angle so you can see what's what. So what we're going to do is rather cleverly. I've seen this done before, and it is very, very clever. This, in fact, I think where did I last see it? It might be. No, I was trying to think if it was in the airlock of the new Starship, but I don't think it was that. But you see how this angle, they've used this angle of the little sort of mini wedge there because it fits in with the angle of the 1x3 wedge, inverted wedge. And it's very clever because it's in fact, I mean, I'm looking at it. Have I got something wrong there? Because it looks like no, there is a gap. No, I've got it right. It's the angle of the manual. It makes it look as if it's a solid orange piece at the top, but it actually isn't. It's just the way that you look down on it. It from a certain angle, it looks like it's fully orange, but in fact, there is a gap there, as you can probably see there. So it's not that it's wrong. It's just the angle that they're looking at it from. And then finally, this 1x8 comes to save the day and actually give you some structural integrity on either side. But that is pretty wobbly because it's not. That is all there is to it. There's not a huge amount holding that in place on either side there. And then we've got these little decorative pieces. And that's a nice little touch just to break up the grayer touch. That's clever. I don't know where they came from originally. They're quite interesting little pieces, those. I'm not sure I've ever seen those before. Presumably they're kind of flame effect pieces. I don't know. But as I say, I don't think I've not seen them before. But that doesn't really say a lot, perhaps. I'm totally not getting that the right way around, am I? Right, there we go. They look like they could go either way, but actually they can only go one way. So that's them. Definitely whittling down the pieces now, which is good. Okay, so we've got. Is that going right in? Seems to be. Oops, that's going to go in there, and that's going to go in there. The instruction manual does not account for the fact that gravity is going to make the window go down a lot of the time. Okay, so we're doing a couple of little mini builds here. One there. One there. And repeat. And they are going to go on the side there. Sorry, let me try and angle that a little bit better for you. Again, they're just bridging this sort of gap. And they're popping in either side there. There's a surprising amount of fresh air because all of that is still there's still a sort of big gap underneath there. I guess that cuts down the number of bricks they need, which is of use to them. So that's that. Then we've got 1x4 with a couple of wedges on times 2 as well. So we're quite literally building the scenery at the moment, it seems. And do that again for the other side. Good. And then we're just building it, keep on building it up. There's more wedge pieces going up. this side. And which piece there? Okay, and even more wedge pieces here. So we're definitely going for a nice smooth throne look here. I think there'd be a little bit more colour to it. I can't recall from the Clone Wars episode whether or not there was more colour to it. But and then using a couple of tiles here on the front onto the headlight pieces just to hold them in a vertical arrangement, which is a useful tactic when you're trying to decorate something at 90 degrees to the normal flow of the bricks. So we're nearly there now. Just doing one of these. Okay. So I should do that on camera here. These are quite useful pieces as well. If you want to keep a bit of elbow room for a minifig, they're quite useful because it just means they're a little bit thin. They're also a little bit lighter as well, which is sometimes no bad thing either. So now we've got quite a big chunky piece there. One of my favourite 90 degree switch brick plates. That I can't remember what the official is. Are they called modified plates, or I can't remember how the 3D program categorises them. I am that rusty. I am that rusty, sadly. Okay, that and. Okay, we're still building on said modified plate, as it may or may not be called. That's that. What the? Oh, the gun is a thing. Oh, I see. So the gun lives. Oh, okay. I thought the gun was completely random, but apparently that is novel. That is very. I've never seen that before. So the gun is actually going to go underneath. In that space that I've been sticking my finger in all this time. That is actually intentional, clearly. And it's going to slot in there. That's awesome. Oh, I love that. I was not expecting that at all. That is very, very clever. I wonder if that actually happened in the episode then. Maybe that's the thing from the episode. There was a concealed hand weapon under there in case of emergency or whatever. So, having told me to put Maul away, you're now telling me to get him out again. To put him on his throne. With his lightsaber, apparently. Which, of course, he's got to hold it right across himself in order for it to work. And then a remarkably smiley Ahsoka is there, ready to clobber him. Potentially through the glass plate. So I guess you could stick her there if you so chose. So that is it. That is the that sort of climactic battle set. That's good. I mean, I do think that's quite an interesting build for a relatively small set. And there's a couple of really good minifigures out into the bargain as well. And I've got a spare lightsaber hilt and a spare Darth Maul headpiece out of it as well. I mean, I don't know if the headpiece being spare is intentional or if that's just one of those sort of slightly random headpieces that you get. But if I leave it like that, so you can actually you can sort of properly see it, give or take. So I'll just move Ahsoka off there so you can get a clear shot of what it looks like. Yeah, there isn't this nice little set. Will display very easily as well. Yeah, I mean, in fact, that would be quite a useful little sort of jail box for a Mandalorian related build as well. I dare say, you could sort of reuse that in any number of ways if you so chose. Just to show you the last bits of the catalogue there. So you've got interesting. That's very. I think my son's had that for donkey's years. The Jedi Starfighter, but it must be a sort of a slight re-release of it, I guess. Cool. And of course, the Star Wars Lego Skywalker Saga now available on a console or computer near you, I imagine. Cool. Right, well I hope that's been of interest. Been a long time since I did a Lego set, but that was fun to do. So do please like and subscribe to the channel if you'd care to, and I'll see you again. Cheers for now.